volunteers distribute cash cards to residents affected by a fire in Dallas. We meet a woman in Nepal who has established an orphanage at the age of 21. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In the United States, a fire broke out in an apartment in Addison, Dallas. Fortunately, the police quickly notified residents to evacuate and no one was injured. Tzu Chi also distributed cash cards and blankets to help 55 affected residents.
Residents clip on their mobile phone photos and recall their unrecognized homes, which is still like a nightmare.
Heard knocking in the hallway, and I just opened my door and asked her what was going on, and she said there was a fire. Maybe 2 seconds I came out, and the whole hallway was full of smoke. It was just full of smoke. And so then we just had to go down the stairs to get out, and then from there we just watched it burn for like 4 hours.
The fire was very serious because 17 households were burned out, and there was nothing left. In addition, 55 people were seriously affected.
After receiving the mayor's request, Tzu Chi Dallas chapter quickly checked the list of the affected residents and packed supplies including blankets, cash cards, and master consolation later.
It will be $600. Okay. And this card to help you to buy some immediate needs.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Random people that I've never met care so much to have empathy for what we've gone through. It just makes my heart like overwhelmed with emotion, and it's been a wonderful experience. I needed this today. It's been a really heavy, hard couple of weeks. So thank you very much.
The ad distribution was also covered by local print media. It's hoped that this love can relieve the fire survivors' pain and the seeds of the goodness can sprout in the local community.
We're grateful.
Also in the United States, City Medical Foundation uses the process of seeing a doctor to make it easier for remote areas or small towns without medical stations to complete a vaccination smoothly.
Today we are in San Joaquin, agriculture town. Primary is a farm worker and a migrant worker. This program is especially for migrant worker COVID vaccinations. My name is Stephen Woon. I'm the Executive Vice President for the mobile clinic for Tzu Chi Medical Foundation. Early morning, every event I have to go to the centers to get the vaccine. Instead of using a portable cooler, we bought a refrigerator. You can plug in the car so it maintains the temperature. Because of the vaccine is very delicate with the temperature issue, and because of the rural area take about 1 hour one way to the location. We are glad that we partner with St. Anna's to make it happen.
We've been partners for a long time, and Tzu Chi has always been the provider who can very quickly mobilize volunteers, nurses, doctors. Today we are in San Joaquin. It's one of the most unincorporated areas in Fresno County. It's got a population of many ag workers. They're in agriculture, people who don't have primary care, and who really can't get out to metropolitan Fresno.
Mi nombre es Ana Mendoza y mi esposo y 6 hijos.
My name is Anna Mendoza. It is my husband and 6 children. Today we are here and my husband and I received the vaccine. We live in San Joaquin. We just walk over because my husband no longer drives, and so it was easier for us to be closer. For us, it was excellent.
Fácil que esté cerca. Para nosotros fue excelente.
My name is Suzanne, and I'm the lead RN for Tzu Chi. I retired from nursing in 2017, and actually I've been feeling quite guilty that I'm not in the front lines with my buddies who are still there. So on Monday we went to San Joaquin and we did 275 doses there.
And today we're at Easton. It's just on the outskirts of Fresno. And today we have 347 people coming through. The clientele are mostly agricultural workers. They're also underserved out here. So it's great that we're able to travel and come out here and make it more convenient for them to get to us. They don't have to travel as far.
A lot of migrant workers here, they don't have healthcare insurance, and everything that we give today will be free, and we don't charge them anything. So everybody have the chance to get a vaccine.
We are committed to do 3 times a week, every week. Hopefully we can expand using this module of mobile clinic to expand to Los Angeles, Northern California, and New York, where we have mobile clinic can pick up the same role with other partners and do the vaccination.
The patients feel like they've won a lottery. They feel like, that there's hope for the future. They feel seeing a light at the end of the tunnel now. They're all very happy to get it.
They are just feeling a little bit more relieved. They walk out of here more confident. So we'll continue to come back until the people don't need us anymore.
I will feel nice that the people that came from far away, because if they were not here, we're never gonna get it. So I'm glad for you guys. Please, people, if you have a chance, if you can guys come and get the vaccine, it will help all of us.
In Taiwan, Kaohsiung Department of Substance Control and Prevention has set up an anti-drug group called the Fireflies team. There are many city volunteers on the team. Some of them are in charge of sharing Buddhist teachings with the inmates, while other volunteers are providing guidance and counseling after the inmates leave the prison. There are also volunteers who are willing to provide work opportunities for former inmates. Let's learn more about how they help people start a new chapter of their lives.
有机会出去呢，如果你真的愿意改变呢，真的我们的大门永远为大家开放。
Similar to fireflies who shine in the dark, city volunteers have gone to the prison to guide inmates.
What can you do now? You can do good deeds.
Being a former inmate, Yang Jiuru can relate to the inmates. In their talks, he incorporated Buddhist teachings.
如果你愿意，再来在一起把空背鼓励拢甲背起来。
When we first came to Drug Abuser Treatment Center, we could not communicate with them as they are old drug abusers. However, later, I understood what they need and I used their language.
In the cards they gave us, they said that they really appreciate us. He has never listened so attentively in class. I often say that Zhou Ru is the lover of female inmates. Hui Miao is like their sister, while I am like their brother. The 3 of us share tasks, and they like us very much.
On the Firefly team, there are many city volunteers as well as former inmates.
When I first sought help from Brother Zhou Ru, he said that, oh no, this is a troublemaker.
Xu Qingwen was released from prison at age 60, and he could not even make a bed. Just like he didn't know how to make a bed, starting anew was a challenge for him. However, the passing of his mother, who was 90 years old, has truly awakened him.
Before I went into the prison, I was about 2 or 3 p.m., and I hugged my mother. It was a farewell hug. After I was in prison for 2 weeks, my sister-in-law told me my mother passed away, and she won't cry for anyone anymore, or else she kept crying since I was in prison.
Being a drug addict, Xu Qingwen has worried his mother until she was 90 years old. After getting out of the prison, he found jobs through volunteers' help and received income for the first time in his life.
My female employer is a fortunate person. She's more than 70 years old, and she's still very agile. People who are younger than her might not be as agile. I think she is like an elder sister. I sometimes call her Sister President. Sometimes I call her President.
Xue Shuzhen, who runs a paper factory, has employed about 20 former inmates in the past 10 years. It is because she has gone through some difficult times. More than 20 years ago, her husband passed away due to illness, leaving her with the debt of 60 million NT dollars.
When I faced difficulties, I made a vow that I can pay off the debt. I am willing to help other people in need. Many people told me it is too risky. I think some people must help them for them to grow up.
一定要有人去帮忙他才会长大。
你对亲文啊，看到伊第一个感觉是啥？
我是感觉伊太做歹囡仔咧。
I think Qingwen is street smart. How could he become a bad person?
Xue Shuzhen provides job opportunities and boarding so that former inmates may have the chance to start a new chapter of their lives. But she's very strict and corrects their mistakes.
I will think of her when I make mistakes. I am like a kid and I am afraid. Just like how someone is afraid their parents or sister will get angry, I am afraid.
Qingwen has a chance to start anew. He has been working for 3 years and was certified as a Tzu Chi volunteer last year. Tzu Chi volunteers have inspired him to use his intelligence to do good deeds.
After joining Tzu Chi, my biggest change is that I start to repent. In the past 3 years, I've been influenced by other Tzu Chi volunteers. Sometimes I follow them as they conduct home visits of the needy. Those people are having a hard time. Seeing people in poverty, I will cherish what I have. Now I live day by day, and I have a down-to-earth life.
In Nepal, a woman named Tzu Chi has taken an abandoned child home. Since then, she has established an orphanage in Kathmandu and taken in more homeless people and physically challenged individuals.
अब मेरो यो अवस्था अनुसार सडकको बास हुन्थ्यो धन्न मैले चाहिँ सडकमा बस्नु परेन
अब त्यो ठाउँमा भएको भए त मेरो सायद सबैजनासँग घुलमिल भएर रमाउने ठाउँ
Together we can do something for the needy one, for the humanity.
In 2002, Tzu Chi has established an orphanage. Back then, she was only 21 years old.
The first kid I took in was a child abandoned in a garbage dump. I named him the little cute one.
Years ago, Tzu Chi was learning and working at a computer institute. Once riding the bus, she saw many homeless individuals. Being kind-hearted, she took the sick homeless friend home and cared for him.
It's a big family.
One day, my landlord told me I cannot continue to live in his house because I brought outsiders home. They are dirty, giving off so smell. I could only move elsewhere.
After moving several times, Tzu Chi has found his house and settled down. Meanwhile, she has taken in more residents.
I'm a single mother. My husband drove me away because I am physically challenged. Then he remarried. I have found a sense of home here. I'm so happy.
Tzu Chi values education and she insists on sending every child to school. She also lets the child learn what they're interested in.
I'm practicing drawing. Even if I don't find a job in the future, I can still draw. Drawing is very interesting. I will work hard to become an artist. I want to thank Mother Tzu Chi. If I did not grow up here, I would not be so happy.
Tzu Chi has provided a shelter and food for the less fortunate people so they can have a sense of belonging. Physician Huang Bingxiang has been practicing medicine in Xiluo for 50 years. In 1960s, when there were no large hospitals in Yunlin County, Huang Bingxiang undertook other medical departments. When patients cannot pay for medical expenses, Dr. Huang does not charge them.
For nearly 60 years, the Xiluo Bridge spanned Taiwan's largest river, Zhuosui River, connecting Changhua and Yunlin, and became the main route of the transportation in Taiwan. Yuzhen Hospital, which is next to Xiluo Bridge, protects the health of the villagers and travelers. In the 1980s, it was the most important medical institution across the two counties. Dr. Huang Bingxiang, the superintendent of Yuren Hospital, has a license for surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, and family medicine, and serves these small town lucky medical resources.
I've known him for more than 50 years. I come here to get medicine. Dr. Huang takes good care of my health.
In his early years, Mr. Tang had to cross the Zhuoshui River to find a good doctor, but he was often obstructed by traffic and weather. Therefore, he convinced Dr. Huang to come to Siluo to serve.
He grew up in Yuanling and then took classes in Taichung. Then he came to work here for more than 40 years, and he has been in business for more than 40 years. There are 27 villages in Siluo, and he's really familiar with it.
Siluo Yanping Street, with Baroque architecture from Japanese occupation period, was the busiest market of the year. Physician Huang settled here, and the old buildings with ages are the starting point for him to protect the health of Siluo people.
I've been away for 40 to 50 years. This place is where I started. I still rent a house next door as a ward.
Dr. Huang believes that it is a duty as a physician to save the lives of the patients. If the patient is unable to pay the medical expenses, he still chooses to form good affinities with the patient.
Taiwan's economy was not so good at the time, especially in rural areas. They all said that I will pay you back after making money. So they will write promissory notes. At the end of the year, I told the staff and burned all those promissory notes because the doctors weren't making money for the purpose of making money.
Dr. Huang sometimes encounters poor patients and does not charge money, because after he treated patients for a period of time, he knew how the patient's financial situation was. Then if he can help, he will help.
Dr. Huang's compassionate heart is related to his growing up in an economically disadvantaged rural area.
At that time, there was a saying, there is money to buy coffins, but there's no money to buy medicine. So it was really painful to see life at that time. Although I couldn't express it when I was young, there was always a shadow in my heart. So I thought that if I had the strength and ability in the future, I'll learn medicine and become a doctor to serve people in need.
What's the largest instrument in the world? The answer is the pipe organ. Although some are small, some pipe organs may be around 10 meters in height. But how does such a large instrument generate sound? Metal bars one by one and with a height that is calculated by floors. This is the largest instrument in the world, the pipe organ.
Pipe organ, just like its name, that has wind involved in the process of making sound. But where does the sound come from? In the early era where there was no electricity, manual labor was required to blow wind.
Using wind in our daily lives, this instrument fully utilizes it as it generates harmonic sounds.
When plugged in, the electric blower, through the windpipes, and to the wind chest. When we step on the board, it triggers the valve inside, producing sound. This is the process of using the rod to pull the valve.
After pressing on the keyboard, the wind chest is filled with air as it cannot produce sound.
What we've seen earlier was that the wind chest stores the air, and when I step on the board or press on the keyboard, the rod triggers, dropping the valve, and the wind comes in, then travels through the pipes. This is how sound is generated.
The The main parts of a pipe organ consist of a keyboard, organ stop, valve spring, wind chest, pipes, and the pellet box.
管风琴的管子有大大小小，就是它的。
The size of a pipe in a pipe organ varies. The height of the pipe determines the pitch. A long pipe produces low pitch, whereas the shorter pipes produce a higher pitch.
越短声音就越高。
After opening up the pipe organ, now we're able to see how sound is generated.
从这种进去，然后从这里出来，它要分上唇跟下嘴唇，这两边是它的耳。
Wind comes in from here and goes up from there. It's separated by the upper and lower mouths. The two sides here are the ears, and this part is the pipe. It produces sound with different timbre and pitch.
音高，然后强弱，都是由它来决定70%。
Though the size of a pipe organ is large and the structure is complicated, the theory behind generating sound remains simple. One pipe organ can simulate multiple instruments, as it can replace the entire orchestra.
音色就好像我们人讲话一样。
Timbre is like how we talk, as we have different tones when speaking. It determines the structure and parts of a pipe. Think of a speaker, and when we blow in a trumpet, it has a mouthpiece. In this pipe organ, there are 22 organ stops, producing timbre in 22 different ways.
简单而言，就是它有22种音色。
The pipe organ generates sound like a flute, and the longer the pipe, the lower the pitch. It is also one of the oldest instruments to ever exist.
只要人类出生到现在，
As long as humans exist, there will be mechanical improvements. According to studies, the pipe organ existed before BC, spanning over 2,000 years.
超过2000年的历史了。 没有金属的时候，它是用木头管子。
Without metal, wood is used for the pipes, and the wooden pipes produce low pitch and soft sounds. The two pipes here are large and small. The larger one has a lower pitch, and the smaller one has a higher pitch. The wooden pipe has a soft sound. Let's try it out and see.
比较小的音比较高，那木头管的声音就比较柔和，可以试吹看看。这音高。
When pipe organ were built, it was actually incorporated into the designs of churches and concert halls. Thus, it is a part of a building. The largest pipe organ is at Atlanta City, New Jersey, built in the 1930s. The pipe organ has 7 keyboard layers, 1,477 organ stops, and 33,112 pipes.
管风琴的设计结构最怕
If the sound field isn't strong enough, producing a lack of reverberation, the sound of the pipe organ will not be beautiful or gorgeous.
哇，它的声音就不够华丽，不够漂亮。
The large body, along with detailed musical expressions, this is the king of instrument, the pipe organ. In Malaysia, teachers at Nanyang City Refugee School has been teaching Jingsi ever-since to shape students' moral character. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.